to another episode of Enmity Podcast. This is episode 21. Tonight, with us, we have Anastasie, and he's killed me, as the title says, over 100 times in GSF, so we thought it would be nice just to bring him on and let him talk about how he does it, maybe just get his general thought process on what's going on with GSF and what's to come. Other than that, we got a little bit of yellow text. All right, tonight with us on your panel, we have Big, Talons, Ignitia, and me, Raging Rondo. So we are brought to you by Ultra Sabers, and those are some of your leading uh, lightsabers that you can buy in the market at the moment. You can get your lightsaber at www.42gaming. In the top left-hand corner, you can click on where it says Ultra Sabers. You can buy them there, and you can support the cast.
Also brought to you by Amazon Prime. Go ahead and head out to 42gaming/prime. You can get a free 30-day trial up to, you can go ahead and check out a bunch of movies. You get TV shows, access to that. You get free second-day shipping on a bunch of items as well. So go ahead and check it out, 42gaming.com/prime.
Did you just come back for GSF?
I took a couple months off after doing ops with Suckafish, but I've been working on an MBA program, and yeah, I saw the GSF ad and came back explicitly for this, and I've been playing pretty much only GSF since.
Yeah, we see you in there constantly whenever you're on. And you play with your group. You want to throw any shout outs to some of the people you play with?
The list would probably go on forever, but I mostly play with Sanic and Dracula.
Oh, two names I know very well as text on my screen, either stealing my kills or killing me. I'm just kidding, because usually I'm probably just taking pot shots at something they're killing.
Yeah, they're also
Djokovic
just
is really good at swooping in and getting that last hit.
He said it, not me.
I mean,
he's a good
it
player.
seems to be the trend as well. It seems like the GSF has definitely brought a lot of people back to the game. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, so when you talk about coming back for coming back for GSF, how has GSF been treating you so far? Do you see what are the pros and cons on your end that you see?
Oh, I mean, what initially appealed me to it was ever since I was a little kid, I loved playing the X-Wing games, TIE Fighter games, and pretty much everything like that since then. So when I saw that there was Star Wars Space Battles, I'm like, yep, I'm in. Doesn't matter what it is, I'm gonna enjoy it. I ended up getting a beta invite pretty late into the beta testing and played it and loved it. So, I mean, ever since then, I've just been playing my different ships, trying everything out, having fun with a bunch of,
Do you have a favorite?
having fun meeting a lot of people too, actually. My favorite probably be the Quell or Pike. I mean, I play on both sides, and it's the one ship I've mastered on both sides. It's just a lot of fun to be able to shoot missiles at people constantly.
I mean, for you on the other hand, I mean, you don't do much raiding then anymore, right? You're strictly a GSF player.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, I was server first 55 back in the day, but I haven't really done any ops or anything for over a good 6 months, more than that.
And for us who don't know much about the ship types, the Quill and the Pike, is that the scout ship you're talking about?
No,
It's the strike fighter that has 2 missiles.
And what role do you like playing when you're in the strike fighter? I guess more of when you're solo. I know probably different tactics when you're on a team itself, but uh, it's one of the ships I like to play as a strike fighter as well. So I can never really tell, what my role should be. I mean, I seem to be good at defending and not so good about, actually hunting people down. I mean, is that just my skills, or what do you do for your most, like when you're on your solo?
Well, if I'm soloing and trying to win, I'm pretty much always fighting on a satellite, since that's the game mode that's out now. The Quell and Pike are, I mean, the nice thing about these ships is that you can build them however you like to be able to play defensively, offensively, different combinations of weapons, whatever the type of thing you prefer is. And I build my Quell and Pike to fight at range with heavy lasers and torp.
So I take it that you pretty much build to support Drac whenever you fly. Yes?
Sometimes I'm supporting him, and other times he's supporting me and my gunship.
No, you guys are really good at that. And I would say one thing about the team that you guys play really well about is that I notice I can't get away from you guys. I mean, once you guys are on us, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I'll try anything to get away, but it seems like, if you guys play very well. So is it something that, are you guys in some sort of team speak, Ventrilo? You guys are probably talking it out, right? Like what you guys are doing, who you're taking care of, who you're going after, right?
Yeah, so sometimes we're in our Mumble server that one of my friends is hosting, and other times we join Betty on his TeamSpeak because he has a GSF only guild. It all depends on who's the person to initiate the group, but yeah, we're pretty much always on voice comm, talking to each other, trying to get peels for each other, letting each other know which satellite's under attack, how many people are there, whether or not you need help.
Betty Knight is probably one of the best, I think, group, or what would you call him, like a wing leader, gold leader. He communicates, probably the best out of most squad leaders that I've run with, and like Anastasia was saying, he runs a strict only GSF guild, and they run pretty much all the time. But it's pretty cool running with them because they're always very vocal and calling stuff out and pairing up. You get your wingman, and you pretty much go with him to either A or C or wherever you're assigned, and then you're just calling stuff out constantly. So
Well, here's my question with that is, you're a strictly only GSF guild, and that's how not that you, because I know you're still rolling with Suckerfish, but for somebody like him, I mean, does it not see, are they just chomping at the bits for new content already? Because I mean, you basically have one map, and they switch it up a little bit. Not to get mean about it or anything like that, but that's just how it comes off to me. And is it something that you notice most people who are doing GSF constantly are just chomping at the bits for just something new?
Oh, definitely. It definitely feels like that, especially like, I mean, you can relate it to doing ops. Ops come out, what, like once every 6 months, if that. And it feels like you're just sitting there waiting for a long time, repeating the same content. But the nice thing about GSF is it's PvP, so people will do different things to surprise you, and you have different players to fight against. So I guess it's a little more dynamic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? I noticed that too because I'm so used to everybody having barrel roll to get in there. So now everyone, somebody like corkscrews or what, it comes back at me. No, not corkscrew. That's pretty much a barrel roll. But the one where they go down and then they come back at you, and all of a sudden they're firing at you, catches me off guard almost every time because I'm used to people trying to get away with like a barrel roll or something. So I'm still getting used to that one. All of a sudden I'm firing on them, and then it's all of a sudden me going down. So.
Oh, what's actually really interesting too is sometimes I'll be playing against people that are using, flavor of the month Sting build or something, so I'll expect retros, but instead I get someone using like Koyo Grand turn on me, and it usually catches me off guard too. I'm like, whoa, someone's actually using.
Yeah, I know. Like we were talking earlier in Vent about about our thought processes on the um, I'm sorry, the cluster missiles and how they're being used right now to get people out from underneath out from underneath. I'm sorry, satellite, and how now we can go into talking about this with the changes that are coming with the new content. You have the team death matches coming, right? Do you foresee people steering away from the cluster missiles a little bit now? The flavor of the month, the cluster missile. It seems like with the quick lock-ons, it's pretty necessary for the content we're in now. But we're getting, and I haven't seen the content. Is it more open, the team deathmatch? So
It
there's a
feels a
couple of
little more
questions.
open, but there are a lot more smaller asteroids that you can line of sight on. Like there are tons of asteroids in these fields. So basically, the two maps that they have in game right now, they're using like the same feel of the map, but the maps are, I would say, almost completely different. And right now, there's a lot more debris and stuff to line of sight behind in the deathmatch maps. So I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those maps where concussion missiles might actually play a really nice role because they have a longer range and the lock-on time's not that much longer. The other thing too is like you said when we were talking earlier, concussion or cluster missiles rather, when you're attacking someone with them, it feels like you're just plinking away at them unless you're hitting bypass. And bypass is getting like a 50% nerf next patch, so
Hmm.
that thing is going down the drain.
Yeah, which on your build on the
Hey,
website you were talking about it. Is that going to change your build at all?
I'm not sure about gunship. I think I'll still be running bypass because it's just so good on a gunship. I think on some of my other ships, like my scouts, I'm probably going to be running interference so I can stack evasion.
hey, what do you think they can do to improve GSF overall in the long run? Like, do you think ranked or uh, other modes like maybe CTF or something like that would come into play eventually, or you think this is pretty much it for right now?
Am I allowed to talk about stuff that's been data mined?
Yeah, we've had the miner on here,
Yeah.
so
Okay, well, as far as I know, they've data mined something that's like capture the flag, which is like some kind of cargo carrying, and that looks interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to see it.
Oh wait, really quick, Talons.
Nice.
I think there was a while back I was talking about something on this show about like a capture the flag sort of thing. Does anybody remember that at all? Like, God, I feel like maybe they should just hire me
Shut
as
up,
an
Rono.
idea person. Tell me to shut up.
It was way back too when they data mined, or no, there was a picture that they showed of a new war zone where there was like Hutball in it or something. I think it was on Quest, but we haven't
Oh,
seen anything like.
I think if you actually go back, I mentioned capture the flag first, and then you just kind of ran with it like it was your idea.
I don't think that happened. But moving on.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a capital ship battle. That sounds so awesome.
Right, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, like even just pulling
Just
in
need
both
like
the
a
capital ships
sandbox
and
area.
while you're PvPing, the capital ships taking pot shots at you. I think that would be really fun. So a lot of these people who are just standing or sitting still, they would be forced to be constantly moving.
Imagine if you can be inside the actual gunship, like the sniper, or inside the capital ship and be like a
Oh,
gunship
taking
where you
pot
can
shots.
snipe them.
That would be fun.
Well, I mean, that's the thing everyone thinks of whenever you think of like Star Wars combat is Return of the Jedi, Battle of Endor, tons and tons of capital ships just shooting and little fighters darting around between killing each
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, I mean, so let's go back. I mean, we were talking about some of the new contents coming back out, and we all, well, not everybody, but some of the people who were involved in the original beta testing of GSF, like me and Big were, uh, we got to use the bomber, yeah, and it totally needed a nerf. Do you see that this? I almost believe that they had to change exactly what that ship was about in order to nerf it, unless those mines just are not going to do as much. I mean, how do you feel about that coming out?
Well, I only got to play a couple of games with a bomber on PTS, and I did manage to get pretty close to mastering it, so I can tell you what it would feel like at that level. The problem was at the time it was pretty bugged, and you couldn't see anyone after you died without
Yeah.
doing like some pretty crazy stuff. But the bombers felt like they actually have been nerfed substantially, and it's really hard to tell balance when the only thing you're facing on the enemy team is like 8 other bombers. So
Right, because everybody wants to play him, you know. But I could see a scout running into a minefield and just getting laid into. I think a bomber, like you guys were talking about with the guilds that are doing this, where you talk about wingmen, I could totally see a bomber being protected by, say, a fighter and a scout, or the scout going forward to to lay down fire to keep people away from the bomber, and then the fighter sort of staying around the bomber. I mean, so I think some of these guilds that are already working towards that, they're just gonna be unbeatable with that bomber on their team.
yeah, we've already actually been talking like different builds and strategies and stuff for bombers. So like a good example of that is there's a mine layer bomber, and you can equip seismic mines which do direct hull damage, and there's another mine in your systems which is interdiction mine which slows your speed and your turning rate but also deals hull damage. And between the two of them, you can pretty much insta give any scout fighter that comes after you.
What about the fact that they can heal now too? Does that add just? I mean, maybe it's like a heal, right? Or they repair the hull, so we could call it a heal. Does that add a lot more to this game?
It feels interesting because the repair drone that they drop, it's a drone. It can be killed and it has a cooldown, so you can actually completely nullify their healing ability, and the healing ability goes out in an AoE to other ships around you. The really cool thing that I think it adds to the game, though, is later on with that repair drone, you can talent it to increase shields for people around you or replace ammo, which is pretty neat. Like, just let that sink in. Like, imagine the idea of a Black Bolt running around with infinite rocket.
Right.
Huh.
I was saying, did you see the patch notes about the? It's going to be an improvement for the Pike and the Quell strike fighters, the EMP missile, where it's going to allow you to counter the enemies. So basically, you can drop out this little EMP and it will blow up or disable the mines. And any ships that are caught in the blast will suffer minor damage, but has their systems rendered unusable. It doesn't say for how long, but so
I believe it's
they're going to
15
make the
seconds.
seconds.
God, what they're
So do you
bringing
think
to
that's going to be a
GSF,
nice?
what they're bringing to GSF with this type of stuff, I'd have to say it's some of the more intricate PvP that's in this game. I'm sorry, you can answer his question, but that blew my mind. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they're also adding a system to Black Bolts and Nova Dives that's going to be an EMP blast around them.
So that EMP blast can nullify the healing then.
So it does a lot. It can shut off mines and drones.
Yeah.
It can also be talented to provide immunity to missile locks for 3 seconds to everyone around the scout. I think in like a 3,000 meter range. I could be wrong. And the most important thing you can talent later on is you can use it, and anyone that gets hit by it will have either their shield systems or their engine system turned off for 15 seconds. So they won't be able to use, like as an example, distortion field, or won't be able to use barrel roll.
That's
Oh
awesome.
wow.
OP. That's it.
It's not OP though, because the gunship already
Insane.
has the piece that takes away all of your engine stuff too, and then you're like
And it
floating
can
in water,
slow
like
you and
just oh man, well not floating in space, just going, just kill me so I can get back out here.
Yeah, but based on the fact that it's going to be on a scout, oh my god, that's crazy. Those things are so fast.
But the good thing is, at least it's a Black Bolt and not the Sting that's already pretty much considered to be overpowered by everyone I play.
Yeah, okay, so here I have a question for you along with so we're talking about stuff that's coming out. Um, there's also some areas that I was wondering about how you felt about it. Have you ever played any other games that are sort of like this? Not I mean like maybe like War Thunder or any sort of flying games that are out there.
Ooh, I haven't played simulators or any type of flying game for a really long time. Maybe back to like X-Wing Alliance, and that's what, like 10 plus years ago? I don't even know.
Well, you know how you can press forward, right? In GSF, and it allows your engines to work harder and go a little faster, right? I haven't noticed any like downside to doing that other than making your engines go faster. In other games that I've played, when you press forward for too long, your engines start to stall out because you're pushing them too hard. And I was wondering if you thought something like that for somebody who's pushing their engines. I mean, they're staying alive for a long time, but they're just pushing their engines. Do you see something like that as adding some more quality to the game also, so that they have to watch out for their ship. Yeah, you're living for a long time, but you have to really watch out how you push your ship.
That actually sounds really interesting if you were to take that mechanic and apply it to like the spacebar thruster. So when you're speed boosting, you can't just sit there and speed boost from full to nothing
Right.
without some kind of repercussion.
So you'd have to like barrel roll in between there or something like that to sort of like split it up. It gives you a play.
Yeah, although as far as speed goes with like the WNS key and your normal speed bar, not counting like the actual spacebar boosting, I find I'm actually slowing down a lot more than speeding up because you can make sharper turns that way on pretty much any.
See, I slow down too, but that's because I've been finding lately people have been doing that to me. So if I overshoot them, then they just take me out. But which I love about the game, and I talked about it when we first heard about it, the ability to say kind of like you remember God, what was that movie called with Will Smith and the aliens, right? Independence Day. So in Independence Day, he's flying, the aliens following at him, shooting at him, and he does like the stop, and then he goes up, and then the alien overshoots him, and he takes them out or whatnot. He's doing all these like cool maneuvers. I always thought that would be really cool to this game, and I find now that people are getting used to this game, they're doing it to me, and I'm getting just I'm just getting killed. But
Yeah,
I
it's
love
actually
that.
pretty awesome that you can.
Yeah. And so I've been slowing down lately too because I find that lately I've been overshooting people and then they've been taking me out. I think that's really fun about this game.
Oh, I use S more than I use W in that, and at least especially the build that you've been using, Rondo. It's like, I'd rather have. I find it increases your turning radius too, and slows you down. So I use that a lot more than I use W.
Yeah.
So the cool thing you'll want to try too that I've done pretty often under satellites is people will do that and then try and like do a spin around you, and sometimes you can just hit X or tap X to stop and then like re-engage it, and you'll actually go slower than that.
Really?
Yeah, just for a second, hit X, and then because as soon as you hit S again, it'll start you moving, but at the slowest propulsion or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
see,
gotten
hey,
a
that's
ton of
that's
kills
actually
that way in
really
my gun.
cool. I would have never thought to do that. That's a really good move. I'm gonna have to come over there and start playing with you guys. Get on point for the new content coming out. So
Yeah, you should. It's a lot of fun.
yeah, so here's the thing. We've talked about the stuff that's coming out, the stuff that we've seen. For you, what is if you had to put a wish list for GSF? What would it be?
A wish list.
Like
Well,
just one
more
thing
game
you'd like to
modes,
see.
more
Yeah.
maps. Those two things I think are more important than anything else. I mean, I understand maps are just maps, but sometimes you like to change the scenery, you know? It would make things feel a lot more different. I just wish there were more maps and more dynamics. There have been people on the GSF forums, on the Old Republic forums, that actually post really cool ideas. I mean, I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but like, as an example, Nebula that can like block your scanners or make your lasers weaker or make your engine weaker. That just sounds really cool.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
they're
that'd be
working
cool.
on it too, because just with what we've seen so far, I think this is going to be one of their big sellers. I don't know if they knew maybe that it was going to be big, but I'm not sure if they knew how big, because I have a feeling coming up we're going to be seeing a lot of really great content.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what they wanted to do with their test launches and give it to subscribers. Just kind of put it out there. If there's any bugs, they can say, hey, it's still kind of new, but see what the type of reaction was, how much people were adopting to it, if it would bring people back that played it before just for it. And yeah, since it has, I think they're going to just keep pushing it forward and maybe give us regular updates just like they've been for, uh, well, at least in the past for other PvP and PvE stuff.
Well, I mean, they're hitting it hard. I mean, you could pretty much call 2.6 a GSF update. I mean, we got a little bit of character stuff to make stuff a little bit more viable for PvE, but in all honesty, it's a GSF update. And you're talking about their if they're going to do just a GSF update, they're counting on this to be big for them.
Yeah, they're adding a rep, a new flashpoint. I believe they called it some new tactical flashpoint, and then
Yeah.
the new game mode too.
Yeah, it's Kuwait Drive Yards. The whole thing surrounds the story. It's to bring this GSF storyline into play with the main game. You get to see the additional crew members and all that stuff. I've been kind of hanging out on the PTS as of late. Uh, Nah, and it's really interesting. The flashpoint being strictly for Kuwait mesas is because it's a drive yard right above it on the outside. So it's gonna be interesting to see and how they tie it in. I think it's gonna be very very good. But overall, it's a complete GSF patch.
Yeah.
As a Star Wars nerd, I was excited to see that they're bringing back Quit Drive Yards from
Oh
like
yeah.
all the different books and stuff that it's referenced.
Yeah, we were talking about that in Vent over the last couple weeks about since we heard about it, and the fact that they're allowing GSF to tie us all into our nerdy past of books and games and everything. I mean, you can't dog GSF so far. What they've done, I know a lot of people. A lot of people will talk about joysticks and as the downfall. I don't see it ever really working. We've had a podcast where we talked about the GSF sort of thing with joysticks, and I mean, there's nothing really to complain about except for the fact that they probably need a couple more maps. I could definitely agree with you on that, and it would keep people coming back more and more.
This probably goes back to, they just wanted to see how well it actually took off and launched. It want to build, 10 maps and if it flopped. So I think now that it has a positive, look on it and people are actually enjoying it, I think we'll expect to see a lot more good stuff.
So server first 55. And yeah, how did
Um,
that feel, man? Like you totally called out for every time they see you and your buddies kicking their butt, and you got called out by name by one of the longer running podcasts. Did that feel pretty cool? Being known as, I mean, pretty much when people hear your name, I mean, you're almost as one of the figurehead players going into this. Maybe it's just your name in general. It's just easy to remember. Was that pretty cool to be able to hear that?
I mean, it's awesome to join someone's like Mumble server as an example and get cussed out for killing them constantly on the other faction. And then there's also the downside of everyone knows your name, so you're the target in every single match.
Well, you know what? say put a target on your head because you got
I
your
think
guys watching. You got a wingman, and your wingmen are pretty good. Trust me on that. What were you gonna say?
so. I think so I think Alpha Republic might have been talking about him a little bit too on our interview with them last week. We
Yeah,
had an
they were.
interview with Alpha Republic.
Oh
And
yeah, Blu-ray
well,
was
the Alpha Guild.
talking.
You'll
Yeah,
have to link
that
me
was.
that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. They were talking about the fights between you guys and stuff like that in there. It's a pretty good listen. Well,
I want to know why Big is black and white or just super
he's
pale.
not really. He's
Did
just
you get the
pale.
Michael Jackson makeover? You live in Southern California and you're Mexican, part Mexican. Get some sun, jeez.
That's my damn lighting.
It is his lighting. Yeah. Anyways, any last words on GSF before we move on to some of the yellow tech? You should stay with us. We're gonna comment on some of the stuff coming up. But any last words on GSF?
Oh, will do. As far as words go, for anyone new trying to start it out, stick with it. I know it's a hard start and there's a large learning curve, and facing a bunch of mastered ships kind of sucks. But if you ever need tips, hit any of the veterans up. A lot of us that play know each other on both factions and are more than willing to help you out.
Yeah, and see, that's
Oh
one
yeah,
thing we've
and
always said about this community is this community is very helpful, and it's good to know that even going into GSF that that everybody's keeping it up. I like to hear that. Now, what was that, Talon?
I was gonna say Betty Knight at Red Mist Fighter Wing on Bastion is really good about bringing in newbies and showing them the ropes and kind of helping them out. And like I said, they're talking about going to both sides to really make sure that it's even. People don't get really discouraged on one side and just, you know, give up on the GSF thing because at launch, they're gonna go up against some fully geared people. And the other night we were running with him, and he had I think two or three lobies in there, and was pairing them up with some skilled players so that they could kind of get some tips and stuff like that, and that's really cool to see, I think.
Yeah, BioWare couldn't ask for a better community than what the Bastion is providing for GSF. I think that's the way that GSF is going to really take off, is if you have some of the more veteran players sitting down and talking to some of the new players and giving them tips and tricks. And that's what we're trying to offer also with the website. We're putting up more builds. I've been working on a few more builds to put up there on 42gaming.com under GSF. You just have they're not really guides per se, but they're builds to sort of put you in the right direction. Talons, Anastasie has some up there. Dracolich, which these are all key GSF players on the Bastion.
Well, one thing that's nice about it too is, again, since I'm not great at it, you get all these points saved up and they take you forever to earn them, and then it's like, where should I put them for the ship? I don't want to waste them, and I leveled up one rocket almost to max and realized, what, this one actually sucks. I gotta change it out to a better one, and leveled that one up to max, and then, we realized that actually I probably should have got the third out of the three, and so having a guide, and something to shoot for, to aim for, and see if it works for you is definitely, pretty helpful. It's been helpful for me.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. So we're gonna move on to yellow text. So why don't you hit us with your first yellow text of the night, Ignitia?
First yellow text of the night is not exactly yellow text. It's a Twitter post from Charles Boyd, one of the voice actors from SWTOR the Old Republic. And he states in LA again, recording awesome talent for upcoming SWTOR updates. So it could be the possible big expansion for what we're waiting for on the next end. So
Who did he
that
play?
was something I thought was interesting. I have no idea.
See, that would be cool because if he was like Malgus, I don't think they'd let Malgus's guy put anything out. But
Well, when I was doing a search for his name as well, some recent news came up that I think he did the actual voice acting for the 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 Rakul guy that comes down. I forget his name, but the guy that's
Oh, the
interviewed and
Thorn.
talking about, yeah, the Thorn representative. I think he did the voice acting for that. So I don't know if it was just that. Hopefully not. Hopefully it is.
Oh,
For
new
significant
content, because
expansion. He's probably
aren't they taking the Rakul plague to other planets? I think is what they were saying. So hopefully that's not just what it is.
Well, the Rakul plague will go to other planets, but the zones are still the same. It's not going to really change at
Oh
all.
yeah.
But
yeah.
but
It's like the spike
they
in the tunnels will kind of be the same.
yeah. But there is also speculation that this could be possibly the next upcoming content, the next big bad thing after the Dreadmaster storyline.
Well, I look forward to seeing it, and hopefully they'll let him leak out some more. I doubt it. That was probably, a one and only sort of thing that we'll get, and we'll sit here hoping for more, and then they'll just announce it for us.
Starting next week, or in 2 weeks, the Bounty Brokers Association will be coming back on February 11th to the 18th. So for that week, you know, get your targets, freaking kill them, kill or capture whatever you need to do, and get that reputation so you can get some fun goodies out of it. And some
Yay, more
really, really
repetitive
cool
content.
titles. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's nice to get the option that they give you the option to capture or kill because what if you got to go after the bounty for that's your actual Valentine's, you can at least capture them so you can still hang out with them on Valentine. Sorry,
Wow,
bad
big.
joke there.
Wow.
Wow, big.
Here,
Wow.
I'm looking at him.
That's
I
all
go,
I'm
Don't
gonna
edit
say.
that.
wow.
Don't edit that out.
Yeah.
That's not being
There
edited
is no
out.
Leave
need
that
to
in
edit that. All right.
Big tried for
Sec.
comedy, and Ignitia did a hockey check into the board. Just messed him up. He's missing teeth now. He's not allowed to talk for
You're
5 minutes. All right, keep going, Ignitia.
All right. The big news is everybody should be gearing up for this Tuesday, February 4th, 2014, for all the servers will be going down to implement patch 2.6. The big one with the Juggernaut and operative sniper changes, and on top of that, the big entry of the bombers in the GSF and the new team deathmatch map. It's going to be interesting, and I'm actually really, really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit tonight. It'll be that you'll get 200 kills on me now, Anastasie, because you'll be like shooting at me, and I'll be going into rocks out in the middle and nowhere. There won't be anywhere for me to hide, and where I do hide, it's deadly anyways, right?
We'll see if I can catch you in a.
So I'll just
And
go hide in the corner, make them come get me.
I see you.
the last thing is what will be implemented also with patch 2.6 that was not exactly on the patch notes is for those during GSF AFKing at capital ships. They will now they are changing the AFK system to where players can actually initiate a kick against non-contributing players via the map screen.
Yeah,
I
so
think that might.
is this going to be something for GSF only? Is this a GSF only thing?
Well, Well, in the ground PvP, they do have it. So, I mean, you can't just all
Yeah.
vote kick someone. It's not like the Flashpoint where you can all agree and they're gone. You can initiate it, and then if they don't get any achievements, if not, getting any kills or doing any damage, if they're not actually contributing, then they get kicked. So it's
So
mainly
it's like
if they're
it's like the
AFK.
Warzone thing that they already have implemented.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's to get rid of bots and all that stupid stuff.
So Anastasia, you
Yeah.
play GSF a lot more than all of us. Is this an issue? Are a lot of people logging in or going into GSF matches and not actually doing anything?
not since Ace Man stopped playing.
No, we got a new
By
one since
name.
Ace Man named Eric.
Oh dang it.
Who?
It's E''RI''K, but I haven't seen him around.
Okay. So this isn't like a huge problem on our server then. It's just something that maybe a couple people were doing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's not going to get worse with the free to play, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what the system.
Right.
Do you think it's them just trying to get free experience, or do you think it's like them trying to play on the other team and make it so they win easier?
Well, I can't even imagine that someone would leave their computer on all day just to allow the Republic to win easier.
Right.
So I imagine they're doing it for some kind of like monetary gain, like selling a character, since you can start it at level 1, but I really have no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you still get pretty decent XP just for somewhat random close games in GSF, so
What
it
would be
could be an
nice
issue with
is
people trying to buy.
if it booted them, right? From the server, just to make sure. So say if they got up and they walked away, so it doesn't just restart because it's really pretty much just a program that clicks, right? It clicks for you basically.
Well, from
Yeah,
what I've seen, they always fly over to like one or two of the nodes and sit on the node and just fire off into space most of the time. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
so
seems like it's something that's already pre-programmed.
it's like a pre-programmed thing. So why would I would like to see something maybe that would kick them off the server. So instead of just kicking them back to fleet, kicking them basically off the server, I think would be a lot more helpful because if they hopefully the program doesn't know how to log them in. I guess they probably know all sorts of things, but
in all honesty, I think we can take another page from another couple other MMOs. But if you, in all honesty, if we're actually allowing the player community or the players from the actual GSF match who are seeing like a bot style action or something like that, vote to kick that person off. In reality, what they should be doing is giving massive penalties so they can't just constantly be queuing up
like
into
30
that
minutes
game.
or 15 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, or even an hour. I don't. I think anything above that would be kind of
A little much.
insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
Maybe
like
not for
an
people
hour.
who are repeatedly doing it though.
Oh yeah, or I mean, I mean, if you get in a match, I mean, they could have a progressive system. I mean, if you got kicked out of a match by vote and you come back in and do the same thing and get kicked out by vote, the penalty can be even worse. So to the point where it's just, we know your body, you're hindering the game, you know, whatever.
Well, can it be like if you get vote kicked before level 20, then you can't do it for another half an hour or something like that? Might be nice as
What about
well.
like 2 levels? You can't do it for 2 levels.
Yeah, let free to play start out level 3 or something, maybe.
Honestly, I think they should start allowing people to do GSF at the same time. The Kuat drive yards is actually set, and that's around level 15. Do it the same way, kind of like PvP. PvP, you can't do it till level 10, so why should people be allowed to start at level 1? I'm
Well,
just
because
voicing my opinion on that one.
like Anastasia
because they
said,
wanted to.
he came back just to play the game. So if there's other people that are coming to Star Wars just to play this, they don't want to make them have to go and grind for an hour or two just to be able to play the content they actually want to. So I mean, I can understand why they want to open up at level 1, but with free to play, in that type of issue, I mean, if it's a major issue and it happens, 20 times a day, if it's once every so often, then they probably don't need to fight it too much.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. I think it's more about bringing people back to the game and getting people into it. So I don't think they would do a level requirement. They want people to jump in and be able to queue up for it.
Well, that's all I have for yellow text for this week. Rondo.
Yeah, so I just wanted to tell people that right now G2A.com is having a weekly sale on Steam cards for $20. $20 Steam cards for $16.99, so you saved about $3. They sold out already, but it looks like there's still $60 or 60 days prepaid SWOTOR cards, less than $35, and much more on the gaming market. Like if I click on all kinds of stuff for Xbox Live to a bunch of other stuff. And so yeah, so there's deals going on now. Looks like games going for really cheap for all kinds of stuff. So I thought I'd mention that, seeing as they have $60 prepaid cards on there.
And what site was it?
G2A.com.
Cool, I'll have to check it out.
Anything else on the Reddit front?
Yeah, well, this is, I guess, a little bit of yellow news, and that was posted to Reddit. Uh, Someone had made a customer service request complaining that they had lost a pair of their Ricotta Weapon Master pants, and they replied back to them, and they said that they'd spoken to the Imperial Reclamation Service and pressed them into importance that each soldier in the Empire should have pants. So they kindly returned their pants to them. It was just funny seeing that the customer service has some humor in there.
So he just lost him, like, cause
Well, he
a
probably
bunch of
deleted
my
his
gear,
pants.
you know.
He didn't actually show it, so he might have accidentally like thrown away his pants or vendored it and lost it. It didn't show his message to there, but yeah, like the point of it was just funny that they returned his pants to him, and because any Sith, either either a lesser member or a Sith, has got to have pants in the Imperial
It's
Army.
fun. So they gave it back. That's good. That's cool. Yeah, I lost my the first gun that they give you when you become a bounty hunter. The cool looking looks like a little Glock, and they sent mine back to me. So I think it's pretty cool that they have a little bit of because back when I was leveling, those oranges were nothing really. I mean, they just throw a mod in them. You're leveling. They didn't mean anything because you couldn't do a lot of the mod switch outs back then. And the best gear came, and they didn't. You couldn't take the mods, the enhancements, and the armoring out. So the fact that they are doing that is really cool of them because they know a lot of us have stuck with them through the thick and thin of this game.
There was another post by it's actually our friends at Torparse got their site going, torcommunity.com, and they're starting to get some good guides over there. Their latest one that was on Reddit today was their SOTOR Easter egg guides. All the different little things that are kind of hidden in Star Wars. Things that you can collect as pets and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes so you can check that out if you haven't seen it already.
Nice.
Just nice,
Interesting. Easter
Oh.
eggs.
Well, it's just nice seeing other people, in the community. It's not like a dying community where you only got one site making guides. It's nice seeing that the community is active and trying to contribute and making things and being more active. And so, like I said, it's a cool guide. They did one for the Racco guide last week as well, which was pretty nice and had some good coverage in there. Found out that you can actually get the a guaranteed drop on the Midnight Racco. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't actually. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, it's some cool stuff that he's got over there.
All right, and so that is episode 21 of Enmity Podcast. Thanks everybody for staying in, viewing, looking at Talon's very unnecessary Leia picture that he's holding up. Put some clothes on, woman.
This was one of the artists at Comic-Con. He does like pinup style, different characters, and of course this was Leia. And it says, "Daddy's Little Princess" is the name of the.
Nice.
I wanted to get one of his prints, but they were a little spendy, so I just got a sticker.
Cool. Well, yeah. So
It's pretty cool though.
thank you, Anastasia, for being on and talking GSF with us, man. We really appreciate it, and keep up the hard work you guys are doing on the Bastion to keep the community going. We all appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here and a pleasure to blow you up.
Yeah, right. I'm sure
I hate
you
you
will
so
be
much.
blowing me very often. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Well, anyways, hey, have a great night. Remember, for all of you guys, I should add something new to my ending. So for all you GSFers out there, keep blowing each other. For all you PvEers, keep enjoying the content. We have some great content for you. And for all of you PvPers out there, if it's red, it's dead. Have a great week. We'll be back next week for episode 22. Have a great night.
You just tell us to blow each other.